Good morning. Let's just take a look at these three examples, 790, 0.070, and 0.7009. And let's take a look at which digits are significant. First of all, we learned that any non-zero numbers are significant. So where would that apply? If you take a look over here, that's this one right here, the 7 and the 9. Those are not zero. And this 0 over here actually doesn't count. So this number, 790, would have two significant digits. So that's kind of a first idea. Most people get that part already. All right, rule number 2 is any decimals, sorry, start over, zeros at the end of a decimal. They're significant. So from rule number 1, we'll make that the red rule, this 7 is significant. And from rule number 2, I don't want to take the time to color the font red, but we'll call this the blue rule. This 0 at the end is significant. And by the way, this 0 at the beginning is not. Leading zeros are not. That's not part of the rule. It's zeros at the end of the decimal, not the beginning, okay? All right. And then rule number 3 is zeros between significant digits are significant. All right, and we'll call that the green rule. Let me color it green. So this is the green rule here. And so zeros in between would be this 0 and this 0. That's rule number 3. But also, by rule number 1, we still have the 7 and the 9. So this one actually has 4 significant digits. And I think I forgot to say the second one had 2 significant digits. So that's just rules about significant digits. Then, from there, we kind of moved into how do we do conversion factors? So let's start with an example. How about I start with a painting example? So let's just say I can paint, we'll go with 310 square feet a wall per hour. How many square meters is that per minute? All right, so there's our question. We'll entertain right now. And so to begin with, I got to take this 310 square feet per hour, and I basically have to turn it into a fraction. So I could write 310, and sometimes the book does feet squared like this, feet with a little 2 up top. But I find I don't have a conversion factor for that. Oh, I forgot to put in a conversion factor. So let me do that real quick. Part of the problem usually tells you 3.28 feet equals 1 meter. All right, let me stretch this out so it doesn't overlap the other one. All right. So we have 328, 310. Let's go with feet squared. I'm just going to go with feet times feet. And I don't have a conversion factor for feet squared. That's why I'm going to use feet instead of feet squared. So feet times feet, if you don't get that, it's like x times x is x squared. 5 times 5 is 5 squared. 10 times 10 is 10 squared, which is 100. The point is, feet times feet is feet squared. And on the bottom, I'm going to put 1 meter, okay? Whoops, sorry. I think I messed up. It's supposed to be per hour, so it should be over 1 hour. There we go. Now, first conversion factor, I'm going to try to square away the fact that it says feet. I'm going to try and change the feet into meters. So I'm going to use this little ratio over here, 3.28 feet equals 1 meter. And how do I do that? Well, I need to know, does the 3.28 feet go on the top or on the bottom? And the way you can tell is it has to cross cancel. So 3.28 feet goes on the bottom so that feet and feet cross cancel, which means 1 meter goes on top. Next, I'd have I'd have to get rid of the other feet. See, I only got rid of one of them. So I'd have to do the same exact thing again. 1 meter over 3.28 feet. Okay. And that will cross cancel with the other feet. Now, we probably want to take care of the hours. So, need another conversion factor. Do you know how many minutes are in an hour? I hope so. So, hopefully you know that it's 60. Now, where does the 60 go and where does the hour go? 60 minutes in the hour. Does 60 minutes go on the top or on the bottom? 60 minutes per hour. Well, it turns out the hour has to go on top so that it'll cross cancel, which means the 60 minutes goes on the bottom. And when you multiply straight across, that'll give you the, that's how you multiply fractions. You multiply all the top numbers and all the words and all the bottom numbers and all those words. So on the top, we have 310 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 310. I think I'll put it down here, 310. And then on the bottom, we have 1 times 3.28 times 3.28 times 60. So whip out my calculator. 3.28 times 3.28 times 60 is 645.504. 645.504. And I can check the words. This is how I passed science classes in high school, is I made sure that the units worked out, and that means I used the right formula. So let's check to see if it worked. So maybe I'll use rainbow to color to show this. The meters and the meters are left on top. Meters times meters is meters squared. Okay. And then on the bottom, the only thing left is the minutes. So it's going to be per minute, or per 645 minutes, actually. Now we see a division problem. Hopefully you see that as a fraction is a division problem. So I divide the top number by the bottom, 310, divided by 645.504, and I get 0.48024489. I don't know if you can read that, but it's too many digits. So usually they ask me to round to the correct number of significant digits, and in the problem, I'll color this with blue, we had 310, which has 202 significant digits. This conversion factor has 3. Okay, and this could have been 1.00. It could have been 3 because that's actually a precise number. It's just not written as a precise number. Anyway, I need 2 digits. And since my answer was 0.4802, let me write that down raw, 0.4802, I'm supposed to round that to 0.48. And then don't forget your units, meters squared per minute. All right, so that's just a review of significant digits and how they fall into conversion factors and square units with conversion factors. And there's more videos if you want to take a look on the website, and this one will be on the website also. All right.